The New York Rangers head coach Peter Laviolette decided to make a very interesting lineup change throughout the Thursday night game against the Calgary Flames that ended up being a 3-2 loss for the Rangers. But the very interesting move that he made could have a decent little impact on this Rangers team and add some solid depth at a position of need for the Rangers going forward in the future as well, and that is putting Kaapo Kakko mid-game at center, centering the line of Cuylle and Jimmy Vesey on that third line, which I think was a very interesting move. Filipino has missed a couple games here, obviously, with after sitting the collision there with K'Andre Miller, his teammate, but with Heedle out there, the Rangers' center depth is really not that great. Whenever we see a guy like Zibanejad, Trocheck, or, obviously Heedle have to miss a bit of time there, things don't look great for the Rangers down the middle, so he ended up trying out, a guy, Kappo Kakko, at center, which I think was a very interesting move. Kakko has played a bit of center in the past, over in Finland and stuff like that. Really only before he ended up getting obviously drafted by the Rangers coming over to North America full time. So I think this was a very interesting move there to throw him at center, but he has a little experience there before. He's normally a decent face-off guy, especially for a primary winger. And, this is something that apparently, Kaapo, I guess, and this front office or coaching staff, whatever, has kind of talked about in the past and kind of talked about it possibly being a kind of backup plan, which obviously came into effect this game against Calgary, and it ended up working out pretty well. Now, it doesn't seem like Kakko is going to be, a new kind of full-time center, for example, but it does kind of provide a nice little kind of backup plan there, a little bit of extra depth at the center department there, which we definitely know is needed. Like I said, when one of those top three guys goes down, we really have kind of a big, clear gap there. I mean, Johnny Brodzinski's a nice guy to have to fill in here and there. Jake Lecision can be maybe an okay kind of fourth liner at the very most there, play center. We have a guy like Benoit Agru there in the AHL with Wolfpack, who's having a pretty good season there. He's a center, but for the most part there, we don't have the best center depth. Now, we do have quite a few prospects that I really like and I think are interesting, two-way guys and, a big 6'7" guy in Rubrek who can play a bit of center. So there are some guys coming up, probably at some point next season and beyond in the future that can have a pretty good impact on this team and possibly end up being top 6 caliber centermen, but that's at least a season or so away. So I do think having like Kakko there as that kind of backup plan, mid-game, if a center goes down mid-game, obviously could happen to Heedle again because he is someone who definitely has sustained quite a few injuries and mainly concussions over his career so far. So having the guy Kakko as that kind of backup plan, I think, is something very nice and important for this Rangers team. Now, Kakko ended up actually winning a face-off, and that kind of led to a actually game-tying goal when Cuylle scored there against the Calgary Flames. That goal ended up making it 2-2, tying up the game there, and that was because Kakko won the face-off there, and they ended up scoring off that. So I think that was very interesting and very nice to see as well. Obviously, it was a bit of a surprise there that we saw Kakko throughout that game, just kind of jump in there mid-game at center, but I thought he looked pretty good there. I think most of the people would agree with me on that, and like I said, having that as kind of a backup plan is not a bad thing at all. And now we'll take a look at a couple quotes here. The first one from Peter Laviolette, as he basically ended up saying, we talked about it. Laviolette said about putting Kaapo at center, quote, he got a shift or two before in the middle. It was just something we talked about. If the opportunity presented itself, we went with it tonight. And I think that makes, a bit of sense there. Obviously, having a guy like Kakko there who can just be a nice little backup plan, that fifth center out there on the ice. Obviously, he's going to be a primary right winger. And like I said, I don't really think he's going to be like a full-time center going forward now, but having him as that kind of backup plan, that fifth center out there possibly on the ice is definitely a nice thing. And it always is nice to have a winger that can win face-offs and do pretty good in that department as well, because Filipino, he's going to get kicked out of the face-off dot there. He's not a great face-off guy, so if we do see Kakko take, a few extra face-offs here and there, if he can do a better job than a guy like Filipino there, that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. He's still playing center, but maybe Kakko gets to take an extra couple of draws here and there over like Heedle, who's obviously not a good face-off guy really at all. So I think that can definitely be a kind of really added bonus, because winning face-offs, whether it's in your own zone, the other zone there, in the neutral zone, wherever it is, you win that puck back, you have possession, you're not chasing it around for most of your shift there, you get control of it. I think that obviously is a really big factor in hockey. There's winning those face-offs, getting control of the puck there, not having to chase it. So if Kakko ends up taking a few extra face-offs here and there for Heedle, I think that could also be a pretty nice thing for this team. And shout out to the Hockey News there, who did have these quotes in their article talking about Kakko playing center. So I'll have that linked in the description if you want to check that out. But now taking a look here at the other quote from Peter Laviolette, he ended up saying, quote, "He played center prior to getting to the NHL. He has center experience. He is pretty good in the face-off circle. They produced a goal for us to tie the game, so I thought he did good." And I completely agree. That goal, to make things 2-2 there, the Will Cuylle goal, was a big reason for that. The face-off win by Kaapo Kakko. So that is a very important thing there, is winning those draws. And if Kakko can help us do that every once in a while there and be a plus kind of face-off taking winger, that is not a bad thing at all for this team. He can play center in a pinch there, help out on the draws, and with a guy who's normally a center being Cuylle, he was not good at face-offs. He definitely could help him out there, which would overall just be a nice big help for this Rangers team. Now, overall, though, I do think Kakko so far this season has played really solid there. He's looked a lot better than last season there, offensively and defensively, you could say. I think his defensive game alongside Will Cuylle, they've been a dynamic defensive kind of wing duo there, so I think they've done a great job defensively, but also offensively, Kakko and Cuylle have been a part of Will Cuylle kind of breaking out into that star level kind of guy possibly. Obviously right now, maybe you don't want to label him as a star, but he is a possible star, a potential star. With the stuff he's kind of shown this season, with his physicality, him being one of the top hitters in the entire NHL, with that defense and offensive play, Will Cuylle is kind of a blossoming star here potentially, and a guy like Kakko playing alongside him has definitely had an impact on him. So I think that's been a really great kind of third line there for this team defensively, but also offensively. And Kakko, Cuylle, Cuylle, they're all part of that, and definitely a reason why Kakko was taking a step up as well is what Will Cuylle has done. So I think overall, offensively, defensively, Kakko is definitely looking improved from last season, which is a big thing for this team. You got to have depth there. You got to have three really solid lines there, and having a really good defensive line for a third line as well is not a bad thing at all, especially when they do have some pretty good offense to their game, which is a very nice thing as well. So I think overall, that third line has been phenomenal. I made a video the other day kind of talking about that, so definitely go check it out. But in general, Kakko has definitely looked really good, which is a nice thing. He is an RFA this upcoming summer, but I definitely would like to see him sign to be a medium-term deal with this team. I can't imagine he's going to want to sign a 7 or 8 year deal, whatever, but maybe we can get him on a 3-4 year deal, possibly at a fairly reasonable cap. I'm not sure exactly what Kakko wants or what the Rangers want to offer him, but something around there, a 3, 4, 5 year deal, I'd be very happy with, especially if we can get him on a pretty manageable cap hit. Taking a look now, though, at his stats and kind of what he's done so far this season, Kakko has 18 games played, 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 total points. He's a plus 12, 14 penalty minutes, which is a little higher than you want to see there. His previous career high in penalty minutes was last season with 24, so he's en route to smash right through that, but hopefully can kind of calm down there. But overall, 3 out of 3 even strength goals there, 7 out of 8 even strength assists there, so not bad at all. 10 of his 11 points there have come at even strength, which is very nice to see. He's obviously a guy who does not get a ton of power play time, but definitely has produced quite well so far this season at even strength, and he also does have some really great face-off numbers as well. So far this season, he has 13 face-off wins, only 10 face-off losses for a face-off win percentage of 56.5, which is exactly what he did last season, having 13 wins, 10 losses, and a 56.5 face-off win percentage over his entire NHL career so far. He has a total of 33 face-off wins, 37 losses for a face-off win percentage of 47.1, which is not bad at all for a guy who, is obviously a primary winger. He's a right winger for the most part, but obviously has a little experience playing center, and I think his numbers from what he's done this season and last season, being at 56.5 for both, is really good there. He's well over 50%, which is great to see, and he should be a plus kind of face-off taking winger, which definitely can have a pretty good impact on this team. He also has 4 block shots, 9 hits there, 4 takeaway, 8 giveaway. Overall, I think he's been really solid this season, and we're definitely seeing a much better season than what we saw last season at a Kaapo Kakko. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed and you made it this far, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content. I post every single day a video about the Rangers, so if you are a Rangers fan, there's no better place to be on YouTube than this channel. So definitely that like button and subscribe. It's free to do. It helps with the channel a ton, and it would really, really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on the Rangers. Unfortunate 3-2 loss against the Flames, but also Kaapo Kakko getting a very interesting chance to play a bit of center there, made a good impact, and I think overall definitely was a good decision by Peter Laviolette. Thanks for watching, though. I'll catch you in the next one, and let's go Rangers. Hopefully we can see a nice win later tonight, Saturday night, against the Oilers.